What's good, everybody? It's your boy Haki. You know what I'm saying? Today we're gonna be reacting to Mexican cartel breaches border, U.S. Marines wipe invaders off the map. Crazy shit. We're gonna get straight into it. Drop a like, comment, subscribe. Let's go, boys.
Alert, we're at war. Cartels are now officially in the Pentagon's crosshairs. And it's not just the wall anymore. Trump wants to take the fight to El Chapo's front yard.
So President Trump has told the U.S. military to get rid of South American cartels
we
once
could have been got rid of the cartels.
But progressive activists say taking the fight south of the border will just exacerbate relations with Mexico, who critics speculate is secretly fueling radical protests taking over America while protecting the very gangsters who've made billions flooding our border with illegal immigrants for years.
It's so obvious that the Mexican government is so fucking
missiles
corrupt.
are a lethal weapon in war, targeting the enemy from above where their armor is thinnest. The addition of this weapon has made this brigade one of the most modern and lethal in the United States Army.
Do you think it's worth sending our forces, our U.S. forces there to take this on?
Latin America's got a lot of cartels. We have to protect our country. We haven't been doing it for 4 years.
Earlier this year, the president came out with Tom Home and they
The nigga literally was like, that's tough. Y'all should fix the border. And just did this. That's fucking crazy, bro.
qualified the Mexican cartels as a foreign terrorist organization.
It is going to wipe you off the face of the earth. You're done.
We go on every out knowing that nothing's going to be perfect and that we're going to have to adjust. We've always targeted the cartels. That's nothing new. That's one of our primary missions is going after the cartels.
Once again, President Trump continues to show his commitment towards the American public. This is what people voted for, right? At the same time, you're seeing on the other side, you're seeing the true colors of groups of individuals that, you know, they keep putting roadblocks and their commitment seems to be to defend criminals.
Shit. Shit. This is gonna be juicy, man. Drop a like, man. Let's go.
In defense of Venezuela's dictator, saying he's not part of some criminal empire, which, as far as I'm concerned, tells you all you need to know about those who are aligned against the idea of taking out these cartels. And what nobody's talking about is if these cartels do get taken out, it'll be the end of Mexico and some of these other countries as we know it. But not in the way most people think. You see, these cartels get rich off the U.S. border in more ways than one. Not just by smuggling contraband, but also by smuggling illegal immigrants, which earned them $13 billion in 2024, something which also greatly helps the Mexican government at the exact same time. Because if someone is poor and can't provide for themselves, they are no longer Mexico's responsibility once they cross the U.S. border, winding up in a sanctuary state like California, where they get free health care and are protected from being turned over to ICE if they get arrested. On top of that, it's reported that the Mexican cartels have infested every level of their country's government, which explains why their military can't ever seem to stop these criminals who've dominated swaths of land just south of our border for decades. Which brings us to the real
all
reason
of Mexico, bro. They make that much money. They bring
governments are totally against the idea of the U.S. doing what they've promised to do for years, but have somehow never seemed to accomplish. The power structure in these countries depends on an alliance with a criminal underworld that's grown to proportions most people don't even understand. However, getting rid of these gangsters would actually be a good thing for many law-abiding citizens, like those in Mexico who just want to provide for themselves and their families without living under the fist of the criminal underworld pillaging their society. And ours in America to a degree most people are not even aware of.
How much influence do you think the Mexican cartels have in the city you currently live in? I want to show you the map. Look at this one here. They are coming to a city near you.
You think these cartels are just content with running Mexico? No, they want to run your neighborhood, my neighborhood, your backyard, your town, your legislature, you name it. And that's because criminal empires, they don't stop growing unless you stop them, which, as you're about to see, is the plan.
And it's not just the wall anymore. Trump ordered the kill shot. The days of local busts and...
Now, I'm not a Fox News fan. I just want to say that. I'm not a Fox News fan. I don't watch Fox News. Just had to say that. Please, I might have to even make that a clip just so, like, when people see this, they're like, dude, is that Fox News? I don't watch Fox News.
And the motels.
This is Bro's video.
That's Breaking Bad stuff.
Huh.
Trump
let me
wants
just
to take the
let me
fight
just let
to
you know.
El
There you go.
Chapo's front yard.
We're talking about sending military forces to fight against the cartels in Latin America. Do you think it's worth sending our forces, our U.S. forces there to take this on?
Cartels where?
Central Latin America.
Well, Latin America's got a lot of cartels.
I'm about to say, there's over...
We have to protect our country. We haven't been doing it for 4 years. And
longer than
we
that.
love this country like they love their countries. We have to protect our country. So, we're playing a tough game.
According to the New York Times, behind the scenes,
game.
Trump's moving all the pieces into place to pull this off.
So what does he mean by pieces? Well, for months now, U.S. drones have been flying over Mexico, surveilling their territory. We know exactly where these cartels are, what they're up to, and in many cases, we know that information before the Mexican government knows it, because they don't seem to want it. Now, the purpose of flying drones over Mexico is being done to secure our border, not to invade Mexico. However, that may soon change, as their government, for some reason, has failed to take these criminals out on their own like they've promised. And since the greatest military in the history of the world knows exactly where the bad guys are camping out, it's almost a foregone conclusion that there will be some action in the near future to stop them from committing crime and hurting people.
Mexico's got a big problemo.
Yes, but it has nothing to do with Mexican territory.
Oh, it doesn't?
It has to do with their country. It does not involve our territory.
So it would be within the United States?
Within the United States.
Exactly.
El Presidente doesn't comprehend.
Right, so you have a gang of criminals who are heavily armed and have a base in your country, but for some reason that's an American-made problem. That is such a misguided talking point. What a scam idea that is. The idea that cartels exist because of America and American corruption.
And they have all
if that's
that
the case,
surveillance,
how do these
bro?
guys have a safe house
all
where they
that
can fly
surveillance.
drones over our country repeatedly without any worry of law enforcement breaking down the door and arresting people?
What?
They try to exploit every potential weakness they see here. And why is it when these criminals commit crime in America, they always seem to escape, traveling back across the border before the good guys can catch them, with no Mexican soldiers waiting on the other side to do anything? That's a little weird, isn't it?
Good point.
This is a tremendous step they're taking.
All right, so they could seize some guys off the field and bring them here and put them on trial. Could they also just drone strike these cartel bad guys right in their backyard?
You know, that's a lawyer question, but I'm going to give you the common sense answer. If their cartels are in the United States and the MS-13 and Tren gangs are, why can't we their leaders just the same way President Trump pointed out we took care of Soleimani?
That would be an imminent threat, right? That's an imminent threat to the life and well-being of the American citizenry.
He's 100% right. And these cartels, these are not being run by people who have the best interest of anyone except themselves at heart. No, they don't exist for the benefit of the Mexican people.
If you pushing drugs like, you know what I'm saying,
government, but certainly not their own
that
people,
F word and
people
the
in
C
America.
word,
And if you get rid of these criminal organizations, you give the people of Mexico the opportunity to take back their country. And you know something, if there's any military action in Mexico, it will not be a prolonged conflict. And after a few highly publicized, successful operations, the border is going to go quiet.
How are they getting these angles,
immediately.
gang?
The message will be received
you
that
were
if you
in
want to be a criminal, you better take your crime somewhere
like
else.
A crime
and these
site. Why are we recording?
They would do just that.
Absolutely. And I think the rationale we use for other terrorists we've through multiple administrations, Barack Obama still, I think, holds the record for the number of drone strikes, including one U.S. citizen. So I think President Trump deciding that these guys who are definitely running people with human trafficking, those are things that I think all of America can look at and say, we don't need to allow that. And anything we do to them is probably justified at this point.
Now, the Mexican president,
that's the thing. These criminal organizations have been able to do this, and they've been able to do it from the safety of Mexico. Mexico could take action against this, but they won't for some reason. Does that mean the Mexican leadership hopes Trump does something to get rid of these criminal organizations while they publicly condemn it? Will that help them? Or do they prefer to just sit back and wait and see what
I
happens
didn't know
because
that's how
they've
the
got
border
no
looked,
other
bro.
choice
That's
than to
crazy.
condemn U.S. actions? These are big questions. And another big question is what exactly would happen to Mexico if these cartels and the illegal immigration operations they help facilitate across the U.S. border disappear?
Like
After
Mexico,
all, if all of the
didn't have that,
individuals in
would be
sanctuary
super
states like
big for
California getting
tourism.
free health care were somehow, once again, the responsibility of the Mexican government, what would that do to their economy? And is there potentially a financial incentive for keeping these cartels in power, hoping that in 4 years the U.S. border will reopen and business as usual can continue? But what's fascinating is even as we talk about all of the damage the cartels are doing in America, it's recently come out that they're doing quite a lot of damage in Mexico too. They're a friend of nobody but themselves.
And the Sinaloa cartel, some of Mexico's most powerful criminal organizations, are now expanding their criminal operations into a wide range of violent and high-profit crimes. CJNG and the Gulf cartel are now directly involved in stealing crude oil from Mexico's state-owned Pemex. That crude oil is then smuggled across the Texas border and sold on the black market, a scheme so large that the U.S. Treasury recently sanctioned 26 entities in connection to
That's
it.
crazy.
La Nueva Familia Michoacana has also expanded their operations to include illegal mining and targeting and extortion of mining companies across Guerrero and Michoacan. The group is also smuggling weapons across the Guatemala-Mexico border, give them access to additional arms and influence. The Sinaloa.
So this cartel, which Mexico says is America's problem, by the way,
it's an
look at
American
what
thing.
they're
It's crazy.
doing in Mexico that nobody's talking about. Here you've got a state-owned oil company, which should exist for the benefit of Mexico itself. And what are these guys doing? They're stealing the oil and selling it on the black market to criminals. And why are they doing this? Well, the U.S. border is closed. Their smuggling business, bringing illegal immigrants into our country, isn't what it used to be. And since everything these guys have to do to survive must be criminal, that's one of their requirements, now they're just plundering their own people. Something they've been doing for a long time, controlling an entire country who never voted for them or elected them, but is totally defenseless in the face of their tyranny.
Mexican president, she's
This shit is
played nice
batshit
so
crazy.
far
I
on
cannot
trade,
believe this.
but it's a big no bueno.
She played nice on the trade. Of course they played nice on the trade. They can't if they lose the trade with America, and I mean obviously I know Mexico has other things that they make money. Like we are getting hurt with the tariffs war between Mexico because we get a lot of our fruits from Mexico, and things like that, and like some vegetables and like some exotic things from Mexico and more things. Honestly, like we had a lot. We low key get a decent amount of things from Mexico, right? But just imagine how much more trading and manufacturing Mexico could have if they did not have the cartels, and how much more tourism Mexico could have if the cartels did not have such a tight grip on it. But we obviously know that it's corrupt as hell because the cartel is doing all this shit. So they probably lining up every single one of the politicians'
it's not even really
pockets
her
thick.
territory. I guess technically it is, but the cartels control almost that entire country. What does that do to Mexico?
Yeah, I mean, that is not her decision. You know, she's the one who runs a country that allows that to happen. So if she wants to go ahead and try and tell President Trump, we can't do that, we're going to do what we need to, and she's going to go ahead and face the consequences.
More like we might face the consequences, but
they have. And you know something?
50-50.
The entire world is worse off because of it. Not just
Really?
Mexico, not just the United States.
Because
but these criminals, they export their crime everywhere they can. They team up with criminals in other parts of the world to do other things that destabilize law-abiding societies everywhere. And there are some people who think action should have been taken sooner across our border with Mexico instead of waiting for the false promises of their government, which included a massive crackdown that has never happened, which is why we're even having this conversation. Fascinatingly, this article says that according to one businessman from Sinaloa, where a massive cartel operates, he says the cartels have always been present, but it was isolated. And if you were not involved with them, you could live an honest, peaceful life. Those days are over, he lamented. You simply cannot avoid or escape the cartel's presence, whether it's violence, extortion, theft. And he's calling on President Trump to come in and save his country.
And that's fact. You know how many times recently, bro, I've been watching a video, like, you know, I don't really be on social media, but you know, every once in a while, like, I'll be on social media and it'll be a video where it was the one video I remember very vividly. It was this couple and they were in Mexico and thank God bless this man's wife, because if the wife was not there, homie probably would have got murked. There is a truck that like pulls up and cuts them off, like it skirts and cuts them off in front of them, and the wife is like, "Yo, like what the like what is that? Like who is that? Like yeah, like I think that's the cartel. Like hurry up, we need to go, we need to go, we need to go." And then I think another car pulls up to the side of them, and they're like kind of like this, like trying to say like stop, and the wife is like, "You gotta go now, cut right now," and like the husband makes the sharpest turn I've ever seen, cuts in between these guys. And it like he drives until he can make a U. Crazy shit I ever seen, bro. And broad daylight was not a singular cop out on sight. Versus in America, it's like there's cops everywhere, bro. But I'm not trying to make it an America versus you know that type of thing. But yeah, it's your boy Haki. You know what I'm saying? This was my video. I hope you guys enjoy. And if you do, drop a like, comment, subscribe. We're gonna keep pumping out content for y'all. Like, you know what I'm saying? And we out.